What is good, everybody? S Crypto 101 coming to you guys with another video today. And today we're talking about Carol. Did Carol rug? What happened? We're going to look at the chart. We're going to talk about what's happened recently, my thoughts on it, how to move forward. So make sure that you comment, like, subscribe, hit that bell button so you're notified as soon as these videos are released. And we're going to talk about Carol on the base side as well as the BSC side, which they're two completely different situations at this point. So let's start off with the bad news. So this is the base Carol chart. So you might be looking at this thing and say, what happened? Because anytime we usually see a price chart like this, it's something happened. Liquidity was pulled. There was a rug, something like that. So as you can see here, there's massive sell pressure and not a lot of buy volume. And what happened was Carol has always had a roadmap that includes at least the base version of Carol. Remember, everything I'm saying right now is in relation to base version of Carol. We'll talk about BSC version later. So base version of Carol always had plans to open up the pair or the token to be able to be traded on a DEX. So currently it's being able to be traded on Base Swap. So originally when you came into Carol Finance, you would come over here and we'll refresh this, and you were only able to actually buy Carol from buying a bond. So for example here, if I wanted to buy 0.5 Ethereum worth of Carol, I would come here, 0.5, and it would give me 12,198 Carol tokens. And then I would have to hold this for 30 days. And then at the end of 30 days, I would get my initial Carol back plus 30%. That was the only way to get into the Carol token or to have access to it. Now you are able to actually come over here to Base Swap, and you can just buy it just like any normal token off of any other DEX. Think of Cake, you know, any token that you're just able to go into a DEX and purchase. That is what has caused this massive price drop. Now, some of this is definitely going to be attributed to people taking profit. I mean, this is huge candles down. So I think that, you know, somebody took a lot of profit at some point, but we knew that this point was coming. I think that honestly, I think this change coming kind of suddenly caused people to react emotionally and start dumping some of their bags, because I mean, whenever the price of something goes down significantly like that, you most likely want to get out. So I definitely don't, from my perspective, always being 100% transparent, I don't understand why this wasn't, you know, hinted at a little bit more, or, you know, people giving a little bit more notice of this happening. I think too much stuff came out at once, and the team kind of got pushed into making a situation or decision in a situation at which they shouldn't have made or didn't want to have to make as early as they did. So that's what happened here with the price. As you can see, it's down significantly here. I mean, it was almost at 0.25 and it's been sitting stable there for so long. Like, this chart was looking so good, and then just some simple change like that and people taking profit all at the same time has brought this thing down almost all the way down to, I mean, it's below a cent at this point. So only thing that really sucks about that is the fact that with this protocol, a lot of people have Carol tokens that are staked or bonded, meaning that you can't just pull your investment out at this point. Now, if you've been keeping up with me, you know I'm extra screwed because I have been doing bonds for 30 days. So all of these bonds, all of these Carol is locked. Of all of this Carol is locked up until these dates here. So there's no telling what the price is going to be at this point. Obviously, it's a learning experience, and you know, based off of this, I'm probably not going to go with the same strategy. I thought this was a really bullish strategy just to, you know, put some of the money back into the ecosystem, lock it up a little bit so I'm not just constantly taking profit. But I probably should have went more with the staking, a little bit more of a heavier staking model. But even if you were on the staking side, you know, you paired up Carol with Ethereum, and then now at this point, your Carol tokens are worth less than what they were when you staked them. So from here, I know it does say that this is the amount of Ethereum that would be rewarded once these lock up or unlock after the 30-day period. So we're going to see. I definitely don't think, I think we're going to get this back. Well, I know we're going to get it back in Carol tokens, but I don't think it's going to be reflective of this amount. I think it's going to be reflective of the initial Carol amount that we're going to get once that bond expired. So just to make that clear, I don't think I'm going to get 0.1455 worth of Carol, which if we come over here, that would be, we'll say 0.14, because I believe that's what that was. So 0.1446 ETH. Like, I don't think I'm going to get 35,285 Carol from this. From what I understand, I'm not sure. I don't know if this changes with the current price or not in terms of the amount of Carol that I'm going to be getting. Because if I do look at it now, these amounts are a lot higher than the actual amount of Carol that I did stake. So that'll be interesting to see. You know, if you've had a bond that's already released, obviously I'm not going to have one for a couple more days, but if you've had a bond that is already unlocked, did you get this amount of Carol back? Was it the same amount of Carol that you initially locked, or is it the amount of Carol that is dependent off of the current price? Because if it is off of the current price, I mean, that's pretty bullish, because that means that this is kind of price protected in a way, and you're going to get back the same amount of Carol dependent on the price. So even if it dumps super, super low, you're just going to get more Carol. So definitely interested to see that. Like I said, if you have a bond that has unlocked, even, you know, yesterday, today, whenever you're watching this video, let me know exactly how it worked out for you, because we still have a couple more days. And then as you can see, we have so many of these bonds that are going to be unlocking. Now, the last thing I'm really going to say with this is the plan is within the next 2 weeks to have some partnerships built out for the Basechain side of Carol. So they're working on some different partnerships in which there's going to be utility for the Carol token. So my final word when it comes to the Basechain side of Carol is it is really a hold and hope at this point. Because the reason I say that is now that it is free in terms of there not being any restrictions on being able to get it, this thing can easily turn around, because if there's additional demand for the token, because right now the demand is pretty much floored. There's not really a reason to get the tokens unless you're just buying them at this point, and then you're going to move forward with staking and bonding, and then you're just betting on price appreciation. But there's not any true utility outside of what we initially had, but there was a lot more stability with the price earlier as well. So there's going to be some partnerships and some things that are going to be happening over on the base side. So you have to understand, it had this much ability, it had the ability to go down this much, but it has the ability to go up that much as well, because it is not locked in like the Binance Smart Chain side. So that's just my say on this. Like I said, I definitely don't agree with the decision being made so quickly and abruptly, but I think that what happened is, and this is where we're going to transition over to the Binance Smart Chain side, is there were competitors coming out on the Binance Smart Chain with Carol. We saw there was like a BSC Carol and some other protocols that were coming out with a bond-like, Carol-like protocol over on the Binance Smart Chain. So I feel like the Carol team was like, okay, we got to get this thing out. We got to get it out. So they got it out. And then at that point, I think they should have just let it ride, right? Because I think that they started to see people transitioning from the base side over to the BSC side, and they kind of got freaked out a little bit and decided to go ahead and implement this change really quick. I just don't agree with it. I think that we could have just held off and just let Basechain kind of even itself out. I don't think the liquidity would have been drained as fast as like it did with this change. I think it would have evened out at some point, because some people are just more bullish on Ethereum and the Basechain side than Binance Smart Chain side. For me personally, I went heavy on the Basechain side, and I haven't gone as heavy on the Binance Smart Chain side because I was more about building my ETH bag. So it is what it is. We're going to transition over here to the Binance Smart Chain. Now, another thing that was brought up to me is the fact that these show active. So if these have already been completed and you've got your 150% from this amount already, then this is not actually active. You're not earning these tokens. So if it was marked as completed before, it's completed. You're not earning any more on these assets here that you've already staked. It's just a UI glitch based on what the team said. Now, if we transition over here to the BSC side, we can see that the price is doing significantly better, but it's really just in the same range that Base was in before the change was implemented. Now, I know what you want to hear first. BSC is not going to get the same change made. So BSC is not going to be made free, and it's not going to be open on the market. Now, the reason they're not doing it on the BSC side is because there's a lot more competition when it comes to DEXs and things on the Binance Smart Chain side, and they're not planning on going in the DEX direction in terms of having their own DEX on the Binance Smart Chain side. So it wouldn't make sense for them to make that transition over like they did with Base. So that's good news. I know a lot of people are going to ask that. They're going to be skeptical to invest in the BSC side because they're scared that it's going to do this. But that is what you need to know. It's not going to have that same change implemented because the Binance Smart Chain side of things is a completely different roadmap than the Base side of it. So we're looking good here. As you can see, I still have my initial stake and just earning this every single day. I mean, this is pretty good. We've already earned 0.2 BNB since this thing has launched, and the liquidity is at $1.2 million. So this thing is looking very strong, and it's really just rinse and repeat. We already know how this thing goes. You know, we're going to create our bonds, our stakes, or different things like that. Now I'm definitely going to have a little bit more so of a take profit strategy. Just BSC Carol is over here looking stable, and we'll see what else comes out in the next couple of weeks. Like I said, the additional utility for Base is coming out, so definitely be on the lookout for that. So the main things to take away from this video is, first, the same change is not going to be implemented with the Binance Smart Chain version, so no worries there. And then for Carol over on Base, this happened because of the opening of the token to be able to be traded, bought, and sold on the open market. So that's what's created this, but they do have plans for some additional utility to come back into the token so that it can pump up the price as well as the demand for the Carol token on the Base chain. So it'll be really interesting to see, because you have to understand that this change had to be made in a way because they are planning to do a Carol DEX over on Basechain, which with a DEX, you're usually going to have LP farms, single staking, different things like that. So if you're not able to buy the token from anywhere, it's going to limit the possibilities of what you can actually do with the DEX. So this had to happen at some point. I just think there was a better way to go about it, but there is some additional utility coming based on what the team said in the recent AMA. So with that, just wanted to keep you guys updated. Make sure that you comment, like, subscribe, hit that bell button so you're notified as soon as these videos are released. Make sure you continue to support the social media we have at SCrypto101. That is going to be X, Instagram, as well as TikTok. And then of course we have the Bag Builder Telegram, which will be linked in the comments as well as the description. So definitely check that out. So we'll keep you guys updated in terms of what's coming with Carol. Of course, when the new utility comes out, I'll be covering that, and then just providing some updates on how everything is going with my bonds once those do unlock, as well as things over on the Binance Smart Chain side. Until then, we're going to focus on what we do best, and that is building our bags.